But in the discussion that even back for the task force that we had the possibility of Kennedy closing, are we talking about it, the possibility happening because the building may or may not be structurally unsound, it may be too expensive to maintain, to run in the future, or are we looking at it as a perspective of the declinement of the student enrollment we've been experiencing in this district for a decade or more, and we're looking at the combining not because of structural or finance, but just as a logistics measure, and having one high school because that is what we can do with the number of students that we have.
But what is the plan for having more students? So if we look at,
Part of our
discussion,
absolutely.
Are we here as a board saying we're okay with, we're a declining enrollment school district, that's all we're ever going to be, we're going to continue to decline, we haven't reached our peak, we're going to decline, I've heard it. What are we doing to build programs so we don't decline? What are we doing to build relationships and communication so people want to stay here? That's what we should be having discussions about, not, oh, here's another emergency discussion we got to have because our budget's not there, we got to close the program, But yet we're investing millions of dollars in new curriculum and new programs that we just heard about tonight, and people aren't going to know that. They're not going to know that. So what's the plan? How does it all fit together? Because there is no plan. There is no concerted effort. We have a new superintendent, new assistant, new board members, new 7 of us all working together. We need to come up with a plan.
So I would suggest that we get together next Monday and have this discussion. I mean, to your point, part of the problem with the emergency is that we continue delaying ourselves as a board. So let's get together next Monday and have this discussion.
Next Monday, the date of March. Is that the date of the
March 6th.
Masonic student that Doug was telling us
Yeah.
about last week? Because I had
Mhm.
signed up to attend that. I'm not sure if anybody else had at the Masonic Lodge on Goddard.
Same evening.
It's at 6 p.m.
Then another day. I mean, this is how we lose time as a board.
So, you know, couple things, Jamie, your point. When I got here, the former superintendent was very clear that she wasn't an advocate for the closure. And that's fine. I'm not an advocate for the closure.
I don't think any of us.
But I am an
We
advocate
didn't
for
want to
kids.
see our school continue
Yeah.
to close. We don't
No,
want
no.
that.
But I am an advocate for kids and optimizing with the finances that we have available that best foot forward. How do we expand the number of AP courses? How do we offer additional supports, whether it's athletically or extracurricularly for kids? How do we create additional programming at Career Center? And all those things take funds. And so, you know, your first question a moment ago, is the origin of this entire discussion an infrastructure concern or an enrollment concern? Everything I've seen and read leads me to believe, and everyone who's talked to me, that it's an enrollment concern. And when you look at the enrollment issue and the declining enrollment, that then Kennedy became first and foremost in the discussion between the two, because when you analyze the two, according to everything I've heard from Thor and Leanne, Truman's newer, has air conditioning, has a better roof, and more room. Truman's capacity is over 2,000, Kennedy's is around 1650 to 1700.
And let's not forget the accessibility for the public.
Sure. So there you go. There's another example. So when it was explained to me that, and I don't think anyone's a staunch advocate that, you know, that they're really all about closing a building. I think it's about, given the 2.5 million projected enrollment decline, which is what we're looking at if you quantify it in dollars, if it's not coming from closure and efficiency, then it's coming from somewhere else. And that means that's $2.5 million. Ultimately, we have less money to spend on people, programs, new courses, new curriculum, AP. So, you know, just listening to Tommy and Debbie, you make great points. How do we market? How do we innovate? How do we expand? One thing I've heard consistently from Tommy and Melissa is we can't run, you know, all the AP programming we want to run because there's 8 kids in this high school that want it, there's 7 over here. So both get closed, because the schedules don't line up necessarily. Even though we have a bus that takes kids back and forth for ROTC and other electives, it doesn't always work. So if you had one campus, how do you maximize your programming for kids? It seems to work better on one campus, not 2. Does it mean that Kennedy is about to fall apart? I don't have any way to know. I've been in the building, it looks structurally sound to me, but I have heard, of course, all of Thor and Leanne's feedback on the nightmares to run the building. We had to discontinue Honeywell, take the winter override off just to keep it heating sufficiently. The good news was we were able to keep it heating sufficiently. Our heating costs are going to be higher because of that, but we can't have kids and teachers in a room at 54 degrees. So by overriding the winter, nighttime setting, we were able to warm it sufficiently and get through the winter.
We can't have people opening windows and leaving them open all night and all day, because we're heating the outdoors. So.
You're right about that.
And to me, when I heard that, who wants to make sure Kennedy closes? Who's the one leaving the windows open and opening them, telling kids to open them? I've heard stories. So this is not what we should do. 6th grade academy, oh my God, it was falling down. That back wall, it was going to be closed. Well, if it was that bad, I said, why would we keep kids in right now? Let's move them. If that building's falling down, all of a sudden, we get the kids out of there, oh, that building might have another use for it. I'm tired of being told, this is what you need to vote on, because right away, it's emergency, the building's closing, buildings are falling down, we have to get the kids and the staff out of there. Then all of a sudden, oh, we might be able to use it for another program.
I was part of the SGA, I don't remember the discussion about the wall falling down. We looked at a lot of numbers.
The back wall engineering, yes, we had several presentations. We had French and Associates. We have a letter there. On windy days, we were told the
Oh,
kids.
you're going way back.
No, I'm going back 2 years ago. That was why the building had to be closed, because it was structurally unsound. That was part of the discussion. And I was adamantly opposed to that point being made because it wasn't true. So let's get the facts on the table. Let's quit we have a catastrophe right now and the board's got to act. Let's sit down as human beings and adults, get data that we can trust, that we know is true. There was some question about the revitalization data. And not fully brought to the board. So let's start over. Let's make a decision that we as a group can live with, that we can then present to our community. But this is part of the plan of what we're doing, because that's what I've heard from staff and our community. What's the plan for Taylor School District? What's the plan? Can anybody here tell me what's the plan? What are we going to look like in 5 years? What's the plan? There's no plan. There's no plan. So let's start and make a plan and make a concerted effort that we have things organized and we're doing things in a process, step-by-step way that we feel comfortable with in making decisions for our kids, our district, and our community.
So given the importance of this, within 1 week, when are we going to meet?
I'm available anytime.
Schedule a day. So that we as board can talk
Everybody call
and
it
get,
calendars?
and get
Well-
clarity in terms of the direction that we want to have the next discussions, the information we're looking for, the data we're looking for, so that we can ask the leaders to go ahead and pull it together.
It doesn't necessarily have to be during the week. Can we look at Saturday mornings? Is that an option for anybody, Saturday afternoons?
I'm coaching the girls' soccer team on Saturdays at TSX, and our next game is in Massachusetts.
I'm just saying, we as a district, superintendent and assistant superintendent and the current board inherited a mess. We have policies that aren't up to date. we have finances that are a mess, and we have curriculum that is being looked at now and being brought into this century. So we are trying to fix things as we go, but you guys, Mr. Williams, have a gazillion fires to be put out, and in my opinion, and I'm just gonna say it, there's a climate and culture problem in this district with communication also. What do we want our district to look like? These are the strategic plan, these are the goals, and then you be big boys and girls and decide whether you want to work under those goals and that strategic plan, or go to another district. But our kids deserve to be getting 100% attention and getting what they need so that they can be productive citizens. And
Well
right
said.
now, we've got so many fires.
Well, let's just,
Put out.
decide, but when you've got the issues, break them out, deal with each one individually. How about this Thursday night, the 2nd?
Same time, about 6 o'clock?
Yes,
I work till 6:30.
7 o'clock?
Is that all right?
7 o'clock?
And how long are we proposing?
Well, just a couple hours, I mean,
2 to 3 hours?
I don't know, standard time, but I think the intent would be, again, I'll just restate what I said a moment ago, to understand, overall, questions that we're looking for, the data that we want to look at, and, tactics and strategies. And I'm just, I'm asking what it is we want to see, these are just the things so, what else?